Can we do that again? Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is David Humdy, and I bring greetings on behalf of my family, the King Davis family, and BT Express. Thank you. Before I go too far, are there any Brooklyn people in the house? All right, I recognize a lot of faces. Where's Kevin Harewood? We grew up 5 doors from each other on Halsey Street in Brooklyn. A lot of you know Kevin. Before there was a BT Express, there was a band called King Davis House Rockers, a very popular funk and rock band in Brooklyn. When my brother King Davis was looking for a keyboard player, my niece Sandy mentioned to my brother that she went to school with a young kid named Michael Jones, who was just incredible. My brother said that he spent half of the morning trying to find Michael. He'd go one place, he wasn't there, he'd go somewhere else. He made about 5 or 6 stops before he found him, and he invited him to come to one of the rehearsals for BT Express. In the word of Jamal Risbrook, they looked at this guy and said, he's so young, but he's good. My brother told him to come back the next day for rehearsal and bring a suitcase with him. A lot of you had heard the story. Jamal, who roomed with KASHIF for all of his time with BT Express, said he did show up the next day with a suitcase. And the story is true. It was an empty suitcase. He had an afro pick, he had a toothbrush, no toothpaste, but that was all he brought with him. Jamal said Michael was like a little brother to him. Jamal said that Michael always wanted to rehearse, and it drove BT Express crazy. They couldn't get any time off. He always wanted to rehearse. He was the first one on the bus when they went on tour, the first one at the airport. He was the first one to have his equipment set up, the first one ready to go. What a lot of people don't know is at the time, BT Express sound engineer and official truck loader-upper was a man named Vaughn Mason, who came up with a song, Rock, Skate, Roll, Bounce. KASHIF, or Michael, didn't watch a lot of television. As a matter of fact, he didn't own a television. He would just sit on the bus, he would sit on the planes, he would sit in hotels with headsets on, listening to Earth, Wind & Fire all day long. One day, Michael asked Jamal about his faith in Muslims, his faith and belief in Muslims, and Jamal gave him some literature to read and a book of names. Michael chose the first name KASHIF, which means inventor, magic maker, discoverer, and the second name Salim, one who comes in peace. With BT Express, KASHIF went from no house to the White House. They performed for President Jimmy Carter on the South Lawn of the White House. He went from nowhere to stay to a stadium where the New York Mets played when they gave BT Express Day at Shea Stadium. I can remember myself being at Ultrasonic Studios in Hempstead, New York, many days with KASHIF and BT Express and traveling on the road. One song in particular that KASHIF wrote was called Time Tunnel. It was one of my favorites. In these last few weeks, we've all been in a time tunnel. No one would have imagined almost 1 year to the day that he called us all to tell us my episode of Unsung is on, that he'd be gone from us on this side. KASHIF always stayed loyal to my family, the BT Express family, my brothers, my sisters, and all of us. He flew back 3 years ago to speak at my brother's funeral. He said if it wasn't for BT Express, he wouldn't be where he was that day, that in his career. Now, that's hard to believe, but if he said it, I believe it. He thanked my sister-in-law, Susie, for teaching him the value of saving money. I last spoke to KASHIF in June, just before this event at the Canalita Grill, when he asked if I was going to be showing up, and I told him I'd relocated to Vegas and I wouldn't be able to make it. And then we kind of text back and forth from Rio when I was at the Olympics this summer, and I sent him some pictures. In the episode of Unsung, KASHIF said, "Going through my life and never being recognized, my biggest fear is not continuing to make a mark." He also said, "I'm going to be somebody that you'll be proud of and I will be proud of. I'm going to do some things." Let me be a witness to say, rest in peace, my friend, Brother KASHIF Salim, because you have done things even more than you knew. Thank you so much.